Hello and welcome to Rule of Thirds, a conversation about art, design and culture with your hosts
Burns,
Mike
and Jude.
If this is your first time listening, welcome to the family. Be sure to follow us on our Instagram at Rule of Thirds Pod. Don't be shy to say hi.
A question about the arts and the craft. If you didn't know, then it's good that you asked. You tune into the culture. This the rule of thirds. If you want to, you could tune at work, yeah. And tell me, does that frame fit good? Does it feel right? You want a still photo for your website, but you want a logo we can design, right? Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We are Rule of Thirds. My name is Jude.
My name's Burns.
And I am Mike.
And eat real food.
Hey, real food, guys.
How we doing?
Good, man.
Why you look at him?
I feel like we always look at each other.
And I'm like,
Well, we want to know how you're doing first.
But whenever you say that question,
It's straight to you.
how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I had a lovely week. Went gym today. I felt like mad productive.
That's
so good.
Like I ticked all my to-do
goals.
list. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
How many to-dos do you have for the day?
Like today
Yeah.
specifically, I think
Yeah.
I had like 6, 7.
Hey.
Oh no, it's not a big task. It's not crazy. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Yeah, just the two small
Something
things.
like-
Like I have like maybe like 4 heavy ones and then
Okay.
2
Light
just to
ones,
make
I
me
guess.
feel accomplished. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I hear you.
But today was a nice day. The weather is it was humid, but it's like
yeah.
you know,
yeah.
So walking to the gym was an interesting journey for sure. But yeah, how about you guys?
Man, work is eating me up. I'll be honest. Working on a project this week, which I can do, but I'm animating. Which I've realized designing is easier than animation.
Yeah.
I think mainly because of how I think with animation you have so many different intricate bits, and also you got to think about is that physics? And it's like, you know what I mean, thinking about how does that work? How does that tie into
To
that?
make it look natural,
Do you know what I
you
mean?
gotta
Like-
think about layers, naming
Yeah,
layers.
yeah.
You can get away with that when you're designing.
But yeah, as for After Effects is a whole different thing. But you know what, as well, what I do like is when I feel like I'm having to learn something new again.
Okay.
So even though I'm not learning something new, because I do After Effects, I've actually started learning the cameras.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
And it's weird because I've never used cameras. Because I thought,
What do you mean?
So on After Effects, there's like you can, how you
Oh,
can
you talk about like perspectives.
3D.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So how
Okay,
you can,
I thought you
like-
meant like literal cameras. I was like,
so how you can literally like zoom, like almost depth of field where you can like
make it look.
start
Yeah,
and
yeah. Of course.
zoom in and
Yeah.
whatever. So I did try it as like a test, but I don't think it worked. But I'm happy that I now know
Yeah.
how to do it, kind of thing. Innit? And then the challenge this week has been tough. I feel like I've been giving bare late submissions for the past few days, which I'm gonna do tonight as well.
By the way, I'm gonna do it tonight.
But other than that, yeah, man, I'm cozy, man. I've got a rant about this because Ghana's
Oh my goodness.
rubbish football team.
Let us live, man.
Yeah, rubbish.
It's not that bad.
No, they're terrible. And I can't lie, I think they should sack everybody.
Hey.
And ban football in Ghana for like 2-3 years.
That's a crazy thing.
Oh yeah, that's
I cannot support you.
they don't take football seriously to stop it.
Wow.
So yeah. But anyway, West Ham are back this week. So
What?
no, because when international football is done and then club football comes back,
You forget about everything else.
yeah, man, I can enjoy myself again. So yeah,
You can enjoy yourself again.
ban international football in Ghana, please. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, Mike, how you doing?
Well, I'm well.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm under the weather right now, but I'm good. Don't worry. Nothing crazy. I think it's a mixture of like, when you're just like commuting often. So I
Yeah, I
feel
hear
like,
you.
and I'm quite susceptible to catching like a cold or flu.
You've been having some ginger shots.
Yeah,
I
what?
actually did have
Your vitamin
the other
C,
day.
your zinc.
I do need to actually do
You
like
can
a
get
shot.
all of that in one.
What can you get in?
Don't worry, innit?
No, tell
No,
us.
no, no.
Tell us.
If you want to know, DM us.
Oh my god.
I will let you know.
Right. Nah, Dr. Shebby.
Yeah, you know. I said there's
No,
one
but-
miracle.
99.
But I actually need to do like a proper shot for like
Yeah.
vitamins, all the things, even ginger, because I was gonna buy one of those like Muji
Oh,
emoji
the shots. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly what you should be
That's
doing.
expensive.
Why is a bottle £6,
It's expensive,
£7
man.
something?
It's
dude?
peas because they know it works.
It's disgusting. £6
But-
for something.
Yeah,
this
no,
small.
£6 is ridiculous.
Go
man.
get like a supermarket brand.
No, but the thing is, you can make it at home
You
for
can
much
you
cheaper.
can make it at home.
You can make it at home
This-
as well.
I can't
But
go-
is this time?
Bro, it would take you like-
it would
like
take me
5-10
2
minutes max.
seconds.
Yeah, I know, man. But you can go shop and get in 50
But no,
seconds.
when
Yeah,
I
but
saw-
no. Hey, if you can make it yourself, make it
No,
yourself.
you should make it yourself.
Because you can make a bigger batch as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
£6.
I have
Crazy.
£6.20 for this much ginger and then juice the size of a hip flask. Don't piss me
And you know they put sugar in there as well.
No, they definitely do.
yeah, yeah.
But
You will feel, guys.
I do need to like get all like hot drinks. I've got Lemsip at home, so I'll probably take that soon. But
Do you think Lemsip's real?
Nah, that thing
yeah,
don't work.
it
doesn't
works for me.
Doesn't work.
But
It's a
I'm not-
placebo.
I'm
It's definitely
not-
a placebo.
Nah.
It's like paracetamol.
No,
Mixed
Paracetamol-
with-
no, I think
with other stuff, which is good for a cold.
ibuprofen works.
And I'm
though.
not even a medicines
For
person
cold.
like that.
Just for stuff or headaches.
Oh,
I don't know if I help you, mate. But hey.
No, but I'll probably take some Lemsip. But apart from that, I'm cool. I feel like it's been a pretty like relaxed week.
Hmm.
30-day like challenge wise, I have had quite a few late submissions, like very late submissions.
Hey man,
And,
you said it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And it's funny because some of them haven't been for like reasons that are too crazy. Like the other one was just, it took me too long to like animate a thing.
Oh, so it's
I
not
think it was for
okay.
the,
I thought it was more so like, oh, I'm outside. I can't.
Not
get
even.
home.
Sometimes I leave it too late, and then
Oh.
sometimes it's a mixture of I've left my 75 hard late, so I need to like
that becomes
read.
yeah.
I need to drink 2 liters of water because for some reason I just have refused to drink water for the day, and then I need to finish my poster on top. So it just gets very messy in the last hour. But today I woke up and I said it's getting done now.
It's done, yeah,
But I
man.
feel like
Well
I'm
done.
also like finding a flow,
Right.
and like compared to the last time, I think I'm finding it easier to like land on an idea and actually try and execute it.
Mhm.
I think before maybe I was trying to, I was too away with the fairies, head in the clouds, like, oh, it needs to be so this and that.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, look, any idea that you can get to that's easy to accomplish. Because I think before it was more like, I want it to be, and I still want it to be good, but I'm just like, okay, let's reduce the stakes a bit. It's not that deep. I think you even said it once in one of like the vlog videos, like it's a marathon, not a sprint. So I'm really trying to like adopt that and just be like, cool, let's work with something, refine it where we can, but just get it out and
Yep.
so you can
Yeah.
like, sort out your day and stuff.
I do not care.
Oh, raw.
Damn.
But the cool thing is that is making our first ideas better.
What do you
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So it's like
yeah.
before, yes, the idea might come, but it might be garbage.
Mm.
But like as time goes on, you start to realize like your first idea, the execution and everything of it becomes better over time because you're trusting yourself much more.
Yeah.
Whereas
that's true.
before, it's like your first idea usually will be garbage. But it's like, I don't know, it's like,
You have to like get your bad ideas.
yeah, like out of the
first.
way, you clear it out before you get to that
That's-
cool
that's
idea.
so
But now it's like, you think of the idea and you're like, okay, cool, I can go with that and it'll work without overthinking, the process and stuff like that.
I've got an idea in my mind already.
Oh, swear.
that's good.
Must be nice. I haven't even looked at I can't remember the word. And the funny thing is that I put it up.
It's put a
Yeah.
sock, put a sock in it.
Oh, that's it.
But-
Yeah.
There's a meme.
Don't tell
Oh.
us. Don't tell us.
No, I won't tell you the meme.
Oh, okay.
But there's a meme that I'm thinking about that is
Okay.
gonna work perfectly.
Okay.
We'll see it. We'll see.
Or
Yeah.
if I get it done.
No, you will.
You have
will.
a choice.
You actually have no
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
What do you think this is?
But anyway,
How you doing?
yeah, I mean, for the 30-day challenge,
Mm.
it's been cool. I can't complain. I think it's similar to Michael. I'm getting like now when it hits 10 p.m. If I haven't done it, that's when I usually start. Like I
Right,
know, like okay,
okay.
it's 10 p.m. I need to actually get this done. So yeah, it's been cool. I'm trying not to overthink it. I'm just trying to like be natural about it
Yeah.
because I feel like the moment I start to overthink it, that I start to kind of get into this weird fear space of like, oh god. So I'm just kind of like just letting it flow through me. But it's been interesting because I don't know. Every single time that the word generates, it's interesting how obviously we all interpret it. Sometimes differently, sometimes close. Like, but it's just interesting to see, and also other people's submissions as well has been interesting because
What was the word the other day that was mad so different? I think it was reduction.
I'm not gonna lie, that one threw me. For
reduction.
Because
Yeah,
my one was so different to what you guys did.
yeah, it was. But
Like-
it's so interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird
Yeah.
how the brain works like that.
Yeah. Because it shows like how everyone has a different perspective.
How they
of-
interpret
yeah.
life. or how
Yeah,
they-
yeah, for sure. for sure.
Mm.
But even like I think even yesterday's word, which was opposition.
Oh yeah, that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's
I did
it's
enjoy that one, man.
it,
You know what? I was gonna do a football one,
Mm.
I can't lie. In my head, I was like, Burns is gonna do a football thing.
but then I looked at it and I was like, can't be asked.
Fair enough.
I'll be,
You
and
got it done.
But I think only because I couldn't be asked because I was like, I will spend too much time on it.
Yeah,
You get
I-
too
I-
okay. I see.
I took something
Precious
that I was
about
like,
it.
easy, let's get out.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Mm.
Oh, okay. So today we're here again. It's I was gonna say a lovely day, but it's not. It's,
Nah,
it's
it's not.
kind of okay. Yeah.
It's England.
Last week I guess we touched on the topic in the conversations for creatives. And it's something that I wanted to kind of, I guess, continue the conversation. I don't know why Mike is looking at me so endearing.
No,
He's kind of like but Black art as activism.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's something that we kind of touched on, but I think it would be interesting to kind of dive a bit deeper into it this week. I guess first of all, what comes to mind with you guys when you hear Black art as activism?
Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
I think.
See, again, interesting how
yeah.
yeah.
I think mainly because you know what? It's actually just the font. I can see it already in my mind.
Wow.
Right. Okay.
Damn, now I can as well.
Condense.
Yes,
Helvetica.
yeah.
It must be.
Condense is why? Yeah, people use condensed fonts a
It
lot
makes-
for
I'm gonna use that
protests.
tonight.
I should have laughed, but yeah, you're right. Because I feel like you can
Yeah.
put a lot of words into
Yeah,
a small
yeah,
space.
exactly.
And
That's such an interesting
feels-
thing.
And you know, exclamation mark.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's also that same.
Yes,
It's almost
yes.
like a.
Loud,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
get your attention.
Like, I think of that,
Yeah.
I think it's "I Am a Man"
Mm.
poster that they used during like I want to say like civil rights times, like for black men were using it anyway.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's always that font,
Always.
but it's very like striking at the
it's
same time. and,
big,
like,
loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting because
Very.
I can't lie. What I was
I
thinking,
was definitely in another direction. I'm
I
not gonna
was
lie
on
to
the other
you.
side.
Mm.
Okay, what about you, Michael?
It's a mixture of things. So I was thinking about like Gordon Parks
Mm.
and like his photography, but that wasn't necessarily like explicit activism.
It's like
It was more
quiet activism.
yeah, he was
That's
like
what you're
documenting life. So I think as a result, because of the things he was documenting, there was a role that he was also playing within the movement, I guess, as well.
saying.
Like when you're like photographing like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, but then also the things like the this test with the dolls,
Yes.
with like the black and white dolls, and like, you know, children will kind of like deem one more beautiful than the other, and that kind of like is a snapshot of history and like the perspective of kids at that time.
Yeah.
That's a form of, I guess, activism and just like
Yeah.
raising the consciousness of like the everyday person to like, okay, this is the realities of what's happening in this country. But then I also think about other artists. I wouldn't necessarily say like Yinka Shonebare is like a explicit activist, but like he explores like colonialism a lot in like some of his artwork, and like imperialism and this relationship that like being, I don't know, Nigerian and kind of like imbuing those things into like from like garments to like certain things, like who I think there was a piece that was in, it tours around often, it was in the Tate Modern like years ago, where he has this massive bookshelf, and I think it's all of the years of countries like years of independence, and it's all covered in like Dutch wax print, and there's like I think that's like gold foil embossing stuff on like the letters, so you get to see what country, what year. But like it was a really great way to just visualize like, oh, colonialism,
Yeah,
like, you get to see all of it and the repercussions. Like I guess you think about after, you think about the fact that a lot of our countries that we're from, like somebody tweeted this the other day, like my grandparent is older than our country, and I was like, whoa, my grandma is also older than Nigeria, and I've never thought about that before.
It's tapped on it.
It's wild, but it's so like, it's so clearly there, but it's just something I've never thought about before. So I think works like that are a form of activism, and art in general has got a lot of like, especially black art. I think most times people say that black art all of a sudden becomes political because of like I'm gonna say the whole Kamala Harris thing, the context of like the world that we live in, because we are black people. whether we want to like agree or not, like things are going to be political. Like, for example, this podcast is in a weird way will be seen as a political.
It's a very
100%
yeah.
political,
I agree.
because of the world that we live in, the industries that we're a part of.
Yeah. And what we say will trigger somebody.
Yeah, like it's more than just these are just, like 3 designers on a podcast, like we're 3 black like that's
Black. Emphasis.
It's not common, and when we think of the industries that we're all a part of and the ones that like overlap,
Yeah.
it's just different and stuff. So yeah,
I see what you're saying.
what about you?
Well, yeah. Burns' point is very interesting because I think I always saw the Black Lives Matter, I guess, not necessarily, I don't want to say the movement, but more so just the
time.
Yeah, that particular. I feel like that was a
chapter.
Not even, but more so it was a clear look at how art can be used
Right. Okay.
to
Okay.
in activism,
Mm.
as opposed to it being activism.
Got you.
They showed you how well you can utilize like the music, for example, with Kendrick Lamar's "All Right" and like "Freedom" from Beyonce, and there was so many things that were happening that they could use to fuel the
movement,
particular agenda at hand. So I think that's why it was very interesting that you said that you saw that like black art as Black Lives Matter. Like that's the thing that popped in your mind, you know what I'm saying? Because it just shows how well they were able to utilize black art, but also
it's like the Obama poster.
The change.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
I think it's for me, anyways. Things that
you see that
stay in my mind.
Right.
But it's not necessarily. Is more so like art that relates to black movement or black change or black culture.
Got you.
As opposed to activism in that sense of like, it's done something.
Okay.
It's more so like
something like
material that was created.
Got you.
For something.
So, okay, it will be an interesting conversation to go into.
Yeah.
But even before that, I was gonna say that to Michael's point about, I guess, black art being seen, art being seen as politics. The moment is from a black person or a black body or a black, whatever the case is. It's like it's interesting because I guess being from the continent, how does that look like? Obviously, that's a completely different perspective from when you're in the West. And also, I guess the question becomes: is black art only made or only considered activism when it's in the West, just because of how the society of the West is set up? But yeah, it's very interesting to me because, again, like the Golden Park example is a good one, but there's more blatant examples, and I think one of the examples I was saying or I listed was like Fela Kuti, for example, who's from the continent, right?
Yeah.
And obviously the Yinka Shonibara is another good example because he's from the continent, but the way that they express the activism, I suppose, is always in view of the West.
Yeah.
But how does it look like when none of that is involved? Like, for example, Golden Parks, when it's like you're literally documenting life, but that's considered activism.
I guess part of me is like a good example, like Prince Jesse, the
Prince Jesse,
Jesse, because like his work is just like really beautiful, and some will just appreciate it for the beauty in the work, and it may not necessarily be political, but then some may be able to argue that like it's giving a different depiction of quote unquote Africa. For like white audiences, that's how they may interpret the work. It's like colorful and it's vibrant and it's
exotic
to some degree.
So
like,
exuberant.
And I don't think his work. I don't apply those things.
I definitely wouldn't consider it even
but
political.
I can see how there could be a lens on that work because there are a lot of people that really resonate with his work, and I guess part of me is just like, I wonder what for. If that makes sense.
So then how does it work with people who are specifically trying to use their work as activism? Because obviously, like, for example, imagine yourself and Burns make art right now, right? In whatever form. It could be music, painting, design, whatever. And both of you are being seen through the lens of, oh, these lot are trying to say something. They must be trying to say something. But you're actually trying to say something. And Burns is just trying to do like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, even in those kind of situations, it becomes tricky because it's like, Burns is just trying to be like, yo, I'm just trying to, like, for example, Recess.
Mm.
Recess is, nightlife.
Yeah.
But because
yeah.
of the people who are associated with Recess, it's considered a specific safe space
yeah.
for black people, and it becomes political.
It's like I'm watching a documentary on Netflix about the evolution of Black British music, and grime was, in some sense, even though it was an art form, it was also political as well.
I can understand why.
Because think about it this way, and even drill, it sounds crazy that I'm going with that.
That one
No,
is,
but
yeah.
like it.
But
Yeah.
when you
It
hear
makes sense.
So basically, a lot of times you hear from the news that, this is something that is creating more crime, is creating more violence, so on, so on, so on, so. And that could be true in the sense of they're sending for another gang or whatever, innit? So yeah, but that's even small scale. On a larger scale, they're documenting what they're going through. They ain't gonna speak about the glorious and the good things in life because they're not experiencing that right now.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem comes in. And this is my exact point about you're trying actively to be an activist.
Yeah.
And then you're just trying to make money.
Mm.
But then both of you are being, you're still, like,
But
let's be real. Drill half
money,
of drill music is not
Okay.
trying to document their life.
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
Let's go back to Graham, for example.
Right.
Let's go back to Graham, for example. Graham came from garage.
Yes.
And also, like, obviously they would start their own pirate radio station because they weren't
getting played. Yes.
So for example, even who was it? There was this girl that was meant to get signed, but Estelle got put on the. She was meant to put on a playlist, but Estelle got put on a playlist instead because they told her one black woman at a time.
Damn.
So the activism in the sense of like, I'm gonna make this music whether you like it or not. It's gonna go on Channel U. So Channel U in itself is another. It's not. It wasn't meant to.
But
be
it becomes.
But
Yes.
it's like an
Yes.
institution
Yes.
to some degree.
Yeah.
I
Face
understand.
FM
Yeah.
until you got bought.
That happens. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, we don't mean for it to be. And
Yeah.
drill is not meant to be, hey, I'm trying to fight for.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah.
But
I feel like I definitely agree with the Graham
naturally,
example.
it will become a sort of activism because it's all like almost a protest that let us do our music. You know, even sometimes when they be like, oh, we're going to use your lyrics in court.
Yeah.
That in the sense of me saying, look, forget it, I'm still going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Is a form of pushing against
So
something.
The system or like,
yeah.
yeah.
That is a protest.
Isn't that a result?
It's not, I guess it's like, it may not be an,
Because it's not a
it's hard to
conscious
say-
choice.
I guess that's the
It's
thing.
not.
It's hard to say
Sometimes
like,
not.
some things are probably more active, some things are probably more passive.
Yeah.
But, and I say this, but like, it's true. We exist in the context of everything that, what is this quote?
That came before us?
That came before us
Yeah.
and is. So it's like, you doing grime in your bubble
Yeah.
is one thing. You doing grime in this England that we live in, that, you know, the legal system will take things into account of your lyrics. People deem it in a certain way as it being rough or scary, or it's causing the youth to go violent. Like certain connotations that we put on that. As a result, you will now respond in a certain way. It now becomes something more because of like the
I see what you're
response
saying.
that it kind
Yeah.
of gets.
Even they were saying like, and I remember it as well, Graham died because of the police. Because of, well, they were locking off like raves.
I think there was more to it than just
No,
that.
obviously, there was more to it, but like,
Because at the time, Graham was like quote unquote mainstream.
think about in the sense of that they had some infrastructure. So they
Yes.
had Pirate,
Yes.
they had the TV stations, they had the CDs, they had all these different shubs. Like these are all talking about going to Ayia Napa. Everything got locked off. And I think when the infrastructure disappears,
Of course, yeah.
Funky House. They were saying that Funky House disappeared because what do you call it? What was it? In the sense of it, how did they even put it? They were saying like the producers stopped it. Because like
Because it wasn't making money.
kind of
Like-
to some extent. It was like, so it's like there's always like a
That's always the reason that
Yeah.
stopped. Yeah.
know
But
what I
what I'm saying is that in those kind of situations, I understand.
Mm.
Because like if Funky House suddenly stops because the producer said, look, there's no money here, let me go and make some music for the pop artists and make more money.
Yeah.
I can see why that will happen.
Mm.
But I guess it's going back to your example about the Black Lives Matter movement and how that was a movement that borrowed the arts to further the message. In a situation like drill, they're not borrowing the art to further the message.
But they low-key are.
No, but the thing is, no, they just happen to do it as a byproduct of their existence.
The thing is, not every drill lyric is talking about the opposition.
You're right, but
Do you know what they all mention about
let's be objective.
what England is doing to them, how their mum was at this, mum had to do this.
But that's the thing as well. It's like you're speaking to your lived realities as a result of the system and the way the world works. So to some degree,
You're
I see
speaking
what you're
out
saying.
against it.
Okay,
they may.
I think we're listening to two different types of drill.
They may
which
is that too, but they may not be consciously talking about the system, but because of their lived experience, they're talking.
Because this guy's talking about trap mash. I'm talking about something else.
I hear you, because there are certain tracks that you hear that you're like,
there's certain tracks, come on, man.
But this is what I'm saying, like, and I see where you're coming from. And honestly, I'm being a bit obtuse, but I understand where you're coming from. But I just don't want it to seem like
it's not okay. Let's say maybe some aren't socially conscious rappers.
No, not even that. You don't have to be socially conscious.
I guess what I'm trying to say is like some people are talking about it because they want to really talk about the thing. Some people are just talking about it because that's their lived experience.
Yeah.
Some people just want to make bread.
Like those three can exist in the same space.
Time.
Yeah.
And there can be overlap sometimes. As well.
Sometimes you
like,
might have a season where you want to make
a few features here and there. You know what I'm saying?
Think like Dave, for example, is like a rapper.
Right.
Like some may deem him more conscious about he can probably understand like his lived experiences, but maybe he's just able to link all of them. Like, yes, this happened to like my siblings because I think both of his brothers are in jail.
Yeah, I think one.
Maybe
one or two.
I don't want to.
I know one is.
Yeah.
And then like his mom now wanting him to like focus on his studies so that he can like get out. But then that pressure of we come from this background, so I actually need to like pattern up and like make sure that I make something of myself. So like someone like him, some may deem as more like on it because like he can address that, but he can also talk to his lived experiences, which may to the average everyday person who might tune in for the first time, they may not make that link until that maybe they tune in more to like his music and be like, oh, okay, he's actually talking about a lot more here.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So you're saying that like people can be multifaceted.
Yeah,
and
we can contain multitudes.
But I'm saying that I'm not
saying all of them.
No. You're
like, definitely not all of them.
No, you're right. But I'm saying like that's fine because obviously when Dave makes a song like Black, yes, we know what that is.
Yeah,
like come on, you know what I'm saying? It's very clear. But when Dave makes Sprinter, like you get what I'm saying? Like they can exist in their different bubbles, of course, but they clearly serve different purposes.
Yes.
But what we're saying, maybe drill is this kind of like thing where it's coming to save the youth, or like trying to express like this kind of like.
It's not necessarily saving the youth, but it's providing a different pathway for them to take. Because a lot of these men,
that's a very hopeful way of seeing it. I hear you.
A lot of these men, the reason why they even started is because they need to vent out what's going on, or they need to send for somebody. But actually, it's actually a blessing rather than a curse.
Because it could have, there could have been another.
They might now get signed.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
they now get signed. I was listening to Posty. He does that thing. Something in
when he drives in the car and talks to people.
I think in the Carly or something like that. And he's speaking to Lowski.
Yeah,
and Lowski obviously he's come out of jail again. But he was saying that when he got signed, I think he was like 18, 16, or maybe
he was young.
He was very young.
Yeah.
But as soon as he got signed on the same label as like Fredo, Asco, I believe. And he got arrested maybe like 4-6 months later on. So obviously when he came back, it was done.
Everything was, But
now like the way he's speaking, he was even saying like, you can't be real and you can't be also making music.
You got to choose. Yeah.
And the fact that he's even thinking like that now, that's a testament to...
What is it a testament to? That's what I'm interested in.
He could have been still doing road.
But are you saying that it's a testament to what? To drill music?
What music? But drill is one of the avenues of that, if that makes sense.
Oh, you feel like drill music is the reason why he's reformed?
Music in general, but he happens to fall into the genre of
There's
drill.
A way out, maybe. Is that what you're
I'm not saying for everybody, yo.
I see what you're saying, but are you saying specifically for Lowski, the reason why he's thinking the way he's thinking now is because of drill music?
Yes. That drill music made him a career that he can make legal money and come off doing that rubbish.
Yeah, but he just came out of jail.
Yes, but he's even the way you're speaking. You know when people go to jail, they almost come back like.
So are you saying that jail is the reason why he's thinking? This is what I'm trying to get to.
if he went to jail and he wasn't doing music,
Do you think if he didn't go to jail, he would be speaking the way he's speaking right now?
he would be getting awards.
That's fair.
Like the music is the thing that would take. I'm not saying that. Oh,
So you're saying it's an escape route for a lot of people. I respect that. Yeah,
yes.
I
So
can
that's why
understand that.
I see it more like. So it may start off with them, and usually they'll start off with them on badness. It's like,
Yeah,
I'm
of
saying
course,
this for my
of course.
man.
And then they grow through the
But once
process.
they start seeing bookings coming in, oh, rah, they want me. They start seeing, oh, I can make money from this.
Yeah.
Then it starts to, do you know what I mean? And they start, and actually you realize people like even like Heady One,
Yeah.
they started off in a certain way. Now their music is more talking about enjoy your life. Such a bit of, you get me? That's a song that came to my head straight away.
Yeah.
You get me?
So okay. So what about in terms of reclaiming spaces? Because obviously I think activism, I guess black activism can look different ways. Obviously we've spoken about the music stuff. We've kind of slightly touched on like art, I guess.
Do you want us to go more into the art stuff?
We can do. If you have any particular thoughts on like, but I'm thinking more so like I guess we can relate the spaces to the art stuff.
Okay.
Because a good example is obviously we went to the exhibition. How long ago was it?
That was only last week.
It was last week, yeah.
Last week, bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah. So there was one particular image that was striking to me.
Mm.
It was the one of the pageant
Oh, okay.
on the beach.
Yeah.
And what they wrote was that the
Mm.
reason why they take these pictures on the beach is to reclaim the space because it used to be
Oh yeah.
it was a white only beach
because
Oh,
of apartheid.
because of
South
apartheid.
yeah.
So
Africa.
it was very interesting to see how it's almost like I don't want to say breaking the fourth wall, but kind of like almost like a it's like a double entendre.
Yeah, but
Because they're reclaiming the space not only in the image but also in the fact
In
that
the-
it exists in that white space.
Mm.
It's like, okay, here we are, and it was the biggest. It like took a whole wall,
yeah.
like the whole wall, like ceiling to ceiling to floor, big image, and that was the kind of message. So, in
But-
terms of spaces,
I was even gonna add as well, like reclaiming space in two ways as well, because it wasn't only because it was a white only beach at the time, but like these are like queer people.
yes,
Like,
yes,
and
yes,
they're
yes,
openly and visibly like queer in
Mhm.
this space, especially in I know South Africa. Some will say compared to other African countries are more
It's still
open, but it's still wild.
It's still
at the
matted,
same
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But like the fact that they were like openly expressing themselves on this beach where like locals are around and stuff as well was like, okay, this is really a big thing for you to do and stuff.
yeah.
What's your question, right? Because
No, so I was going to ask in that regard, how does it work with, I guess, specifically with the British audience? Because I think we talk about colonial infrastructure. The UK is probably one of the ones that has the most pride
Yep.
and they're very, tight on tradition.
Empire.
Yeah, they're holding on to
The
it.
fact that they still give things in honor of the empire,
Yeah.
like an OBE,
It's crazy.
in honor of the
Crazy.
empire,
Yeah.
insane.
So it's like, how does that work? Because obviously we live in this space and we're all trying to be artists to some degree.
You know what? Yeah, I think someone put in the chat in our Insta, but about they're making the physics that the code for like black hair.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That for me is activism in the sense of.
And I hate that it has to be.
But unfortunately, it is.
Unfortunately, again, like, which is bad, but it's like because the industry is so like terrible.
Yeah.
Like you don't even consider that. You've never considered this before because
Yeah.
you just don't.
They don't even see us.
Because you're so used to centering yourself in
Yeah.
everything. That's why it's a radical act. Even down
Yeah.
to like tech, like you try and use a hand dryer, you can't dry your hands
Oh,
because it's not going.
the way I've struggled here.
The way-
I've been like, please.
But that's the thing is like all these tech people, because of the certain people that are in the room, it now becomes an act because of your ignorance. And we now have to do all of this stuff just so that we can meet up.
And
When
it's the
it's really
simplest
obvious.
things sometimes. Like the simplest things. Like it's so silly. Like just breathing like, oh, you're so
It's mad.
brave. It's
It's
like,
mad.
what?
So like even that, like I think when I think about technology in terms of that, when I think about obviously you got games.
Mhm.
But even back to the hair thing, like on certain games,
It's always that haircut. They always got the Killmonger.
That Killmonger.
Yeah, yeah. They got the It's always the Killmonger haircut, man.
and it's like, yo, like we got bare trims.
Yeah.
They probably
So-
think that's how all our hair
But
grows.
someone made a like really interesting point that they feel like the reason why people always resonate with that hairstyle is because it's similar to like white European styles
With
because
the
of,
little,
like, the
yes.
little- which
Let's see.
is so
It's funny. I get
yeah.
it.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. It makes sense.
I was like, why can't you do a fade?
One IMVU,
IMVU is crazy.
Yo,
I'm telling you.
Yeah, but yeah. So that is the question: is like, how do we reclaim these spaces? And does it always have to be a parade? Does it
Well-
always have to be a massive hoopla of like, whoa?
it shouldn't be. That's
It should be celebrated though.
But in that celebration,
And when you say
and who
parade,
celebrate-
give me an example.
what
like,
that's in the
not more,
hoopla.
like
Yeah.
fanfare. Like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is what we.
Well, the hair thing is an example.
Well, I
like
think
obviously we're very proud of it because it's like wow,
course.
we get more representation in the space, so reclaiming it. But this is gonna make articles, and they're gonna make it a thing, and they're gonna make it a form of
the thing is, I feel like that. So that's important. I feel like I keep spitting.
So, brother,
Like, that guy from That's So Raven, the teacher. Anyways.
oh yeah.
Sorry.
take your time.
So, I feel like it should be spoken about more. It should be put out there more because these are like, because of your faults, someone has had to do this. But this in itself is like a really big thing, especially when sometimes you may see it as like a hardship. Like they'll say, oh, it's hard, let's say for makeup, oh, it's hard to,
Well,
sort
that's
out
another
darker
thing. Where,
shades, so we're just gonna do the lighter shades first. And then whether it's Rihanna, whether it's this woman who is a legend in the makeup, Pat McGrath.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Whether it's her or other people doing these like extensive shade ranges,
Yeah.
that in itself should be celebrated, and that should also be used to shame the rest of you.
That's what I want to
But
bring back.
shame them.
I think
Yeah.
that's it
Shame
should be
them.
probably the element of shaming the people that didn't do it before. We need more of that happening.
Yeah.
Not, oh my gosh, this is great because you were part of the problem and why this had to be done. So I think we should, but the goal hopefully should be that in like the next, I don't know, 10, 20, 50 years, like this is not a thing because it's just the norm. I think it's probably us working towards this just being the norm for everyone, that it should be accessible for all. Just this culture of like, if it's not accessible for everybody, why should we do it kind of thing. I think more people need to adopt that. Like that
I
was
think that's definitely a trend now.
Mm.
Hopefully it doesn't stay a trend. Hopefully it becomes an actual thing that's normalized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I just feel like people don't consider other groups of people, and that's what always leads to these things. Like even I'm thinking off the top of my head, like especially because we talk about like reclaiming, especially in the West, it's like, what are we really reclaiming?
Yeah,
Because
that
are
was the
things-
question to ask as well. Yeah,
Are the things ours? But I do think there is an importance of we deserve to be in these spaces because some of these spaces do dictate change. Like, for example, I think of like Vogue and Tyler Mitchell being the first black, I think, photographer.
right? Is to
when he
shoot
shot
a black,
Beyonce's-
another black person, or just in general?
No, there've been other black people on the cover.
No, I think photographer. Is he the first one to shoot a black person, or just a photographer?
No, first black
overall?
photographer in Vogue.
Yeesh, that's bad.
That's
In
crazy.
100 and something
though.
history. So it's like, that is insane.
Mm.
But you guys are also, because you are the like titan that you are within like beauty,
Fashion.
celebrity,
Yeah.
fashion, like you guys actually to some degree dictate how the world moves. So we actually need people like us in that space because we need to make sure that
Is there Vogue Africa for any? I know
I
it's
think there's a
random,
Vogue South Africa. I
right?
don't know if there's a Vogue Africa though.
Well, I mean, I'm saying Africa, but I'm maybe blanketing.
Yeah.
But just like, do we have Vogue this, Vogue that? Vogue, like,
Not
Vogue
that I know.
Nigeria?
I know we have South Africa, or maybe that might even be GQ. But like
Mm.
in terms of others, I'm not sure.
I've got 2 points here. So hopefully I don't forget the second one. The first one though is, I think it's not necessarily reclaiming, but it's also relearning that we can also do this too.
Yes.
Okay.
So when I think about it, there's there's a I think it's called We Flock Together.
Yes.
Like a bird watching group.
Yeah.
There's even running, even though the run clubs thing is now become a thing of like, but generally
There was a
black,
time when
black people weren't running, bro.
I mean,
No,
we
no,
were, but
like,
for the wrong
not-
reasons.
okay,
but anyway,
That's crazy.
That's
is
crazy.
No,
I'm joking.
it's funny.
But like,
Especially
Black
long
History
Month.
distance as
Long
well. Yep.
Maybe for the Kenyan man and the
'cause there
Ethiopian
was,
man.
oh my
but-
god, you guys are so fast. Go and sprint.
Yeah, always runners.
Yeah.
Sprinters.
Yeah.
But we never like this long marathon.
Yeah.
They're even pushing for more of us
Yeah.
to do marathons and all this stuff because there ain't enough of us.
Especially in
You know what I
school,
mean?
like eyes are on people that sprint. Especially me. I went to school in
I
North.
can't lie, I was
if
doing
up
100
north.
meters.
If you're
yeah.
black, you got a bit of muscle, go and sprint
yeah,
100
like,
strong
meters.
legs, come on.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's that. Second part was I saw this comment about the Grammys. And people were saying, "Oh, why do you guys always pander for this?" And my thing is, do you guys agree with that statement?
I find it so annoying.
Yeah,
I find it
The pandering thing.
yeah. Like, should we just make our own? Come on,
Okay.
come on.
Respectfully, do I feel like BET Awards, Soul Train Awards, and all of those should be let me be Do UK, Mobos,
yeah.
even Screen Nation to like, because I know
Yeah.
they do stuff.
RM Brit now do the
Yeah, or
yeah.
Grime Daily. Do I think those
Yeah.
institutions are important?
Very
100%.
important. Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie. I feel like when people talk about the Grammys, yeah, and like,
Mm.
oh, why do you guys pander? Oh, you shouldn't care. Awards aren't that deep. I
Mm.
want to tell so many people to shut their mouths because I just feel like there's so
Put a
many.
sock in it.
No, fact.
This
Like,
is, yeah.
For me, it's giving hating from outside the club.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and
100%.
especially like when it's not something that's in your profession or field.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you guys will get gassed if you get top selling person at work,
Yep.
top salesperson.
But then when it's
employee
someone-
of the month,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
screaming.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I've got a certificate. Oh, they give me all of this.
Get him.
No, but this is the truth.
It's facts.
And I was thinking about it the other day because at first I was like, no, these things aren't important. And then I was like, but I like awards. I'm a creative person. And the beauty of awards is you get to
Be acknowledged.
be acknowledged.
Yes, yes.
But also, like,
yes.
also historic, from a history point of view, it really gives you like sometimes a bit of like a snap. It may not always be accurate. These don't signify the best of the best.
100% no.
But
But
like,
it definitely
you
is
get
an
to see
indication
there's
of
especially with the Grammys, there's a standard. You see the way
Mm.
artists flock towards the Grammys because it's about celebrating excellence in that ecosystem, in that bubble. Whether you agree or not, there's a reason why there's that seen as a standard and stuff, as well as like the communities that are there, the way that you vote, the way like everyone like rallies within that space is different. It's not just like, oh yeah, a group of us just came together and said we're doing awards. Like these things have impacts on your career, whether we want to admit it or not.
And on culture. On culture.
Exactly.
Yeah, on culture.
And again, even like historically, every time the Grammys come around, every so often I'll go and see, oh, okay, in the year 2011, who won this award? And I think that it's a great way to just document history, especially when you look at American music too. And when you think about who gets to be a part of that conversation when we think about American history, I think these things are important.
Very important.
As much as we may not agree with it. And again, when Kendrick, I remember watching it live when Kendrick lost that year to Macklemore. And I think that year was like Drake.
That's wild though.
I think it was Drake's Take Care at the time.
Jay-Z, I think.
Jay-Z.
Yeah, Kanye was in that list, I think.
Maybe Nicki
Yeah.
Minaj.
He didn't go on the stage.
No, but like,
I don't think he was even there.
No, he wasn't there that time. But it's like, that was like a time that, a heavy time in music. And like, there's a reason why they were gutted that they did not win.
And it's, you know what, it's good though, because at least that can start a conversation as to why this person should have won.
Which is peak, because it shouldn't. That shouldn't have happened.
No, it shouldn't have happened, but it's going to happen. It's opinions.
But the thing is this, like, when was the last time you remember that a white artist didn't win and people complain about it?
Taylor Swift.
No, but that's fair. But that's because of greed. I was gonna say because even
like the exception to the rule.
Well, that's
But I hear it.
that's probably the first time, and that's because even her own fans said that album was mid compared to the others.
Yeah.
But like when Harry's House won, and it's mad because I actually really like that album. I think it's a
Mm.
very good album.
Yeah.
But I always think about like it's peak how a black artist needs to like do you can
It has to be undeniable.
undeniable.
It can't be just
Harry's
okay.
House was a good album
Yeah.
But it's vibes. It's okay. This
It
is
was
how
a
I feel
vibe, though,
about
I can't
love.
lie.
This is how I feel about family. This is
Yeah.
how I feel about my sister and her relationship with boys.
Mm.
Like so many
Hey,
things.
mind your
crazy.
business, but
Yeah,
that's
that's
crazy.
No, but
yeah.
good song is there's a song called Boyfriends. It's inspired by like he said his sister. Like, I love the song, but like
Shout out to
it's
him.
like it can be or even Billie Eilish. This album is probably gonna win album
Oh,
of the
yeah.
year, song of the
Yep.
year, record of the year,
Yep.
all of the things. But it's like
If Taylor doesn't take it, bro.
Shaki should win.
screaming. But that's the thing. It's like these artists just have to bring themselves or
Yeah.
themselves and many songwriters. And as long as it resonates with the general public, and maybe
You're-
because
you're
other
good,
people
yeah.
can see themselves.
Yeah,
in
in them.
it.
Yes, I think that's one thing as well. My child listens to Billie Eilish, so
that's
it's easier
literally
to.
like with I think some people said with Harry's house, like, oh yeah, my grandma can listen to this, my sister can listen to this.
It's about
But-
accessibility as well.
But a black artist, like Beyonce's Renaissance was a big moment for black. There was history, there was culture, including like marginalized communities in that record,
Mhm.
references with like sampling,
Mhm.
interpolating all of these things. And that wasn't
Like
enough.
club culture, everything in there.
So many
Yeah.
things.
But that is the exact reason why it doesn't get the. Because this is what I'm saying. It becomes activism. People at the Grammys, I'm not speaking for them, but it seems like they don't want.
Yeah,
They're trying to be as easygoing for every. They're trying to get the answer that fits everybody.
General
If you're coming here talking about all these politics, like, hey, my friend,
Yeah,
where's
right,
this somewhere?
yeah.
But I was gonna say as well, on top of all of that, the reason why I feel like, especially with this whole reclaiming of spaces, is so important is because most of the infrastructures that are made by black people. So imagine, yeah, like Grammys, people are saying, "Oh, we should let it go." That's like saying, "Okay, everybody just leave America." Like, bro,
Yeah,
you
no,
lot built it.
yeah,
Like, you
yeah,
can't just say, "Oh,
yeah.
okay, you know what? Something that, like, imagine building a house and then you're like, oh, they're not
Yeah.
treating you right, so I'm just gonna leave the house."
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like, you need to fight for something
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you
yeah.
feel like you've built.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's maybe in the UK it's a bit more of a tricky conversation to be had,
It's very
just because of
we're second, third, fourth generation. Actually, for like Caribbean people, probably more.
way more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Like some
Yeah.
Asian like communities, probably more as
Mhm.
well. But like,
very integrated.
yeah,
Yeah.
Caribbeans are really done well though. They've established a lot
Yeah.
of things in this
Yes,
country.
yes.
If
It's a
not-
shame that a lot of things have died off as well.
Bro.
Because even I was speaking to a friend's dad. Shout out to Lauren. I was speaking to
Shout out
Lauren's
to Lauren.
dad, right? And he was telling me how his grandmother gave him his first house.
Wow,
And I was like,
that's amazing.
that's a thing?
Damn.
Yeah, man.
And bear in mind, he's what, 60?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Uh,
Interesting.
I might be, I think
Yeah,
it's
okay,
50,
okay,
50
okay.
60. So let's just look at the timeline.
I'm
Yeah.
throwing what you're. I'm catching.
do you see how? Do you see?
Wow.
So your grandmother gave you a house.
Wow.
Do you know how nuts that is?
Yeah.
Us, obviously, we're of African descent, so
Yeah.
it's something like
Yeah, that's a bit.
grandmother.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it's like it just shows how. And he was saying how, like, you know, when they were getting their first house as a couple, they got it for 230K. And I'm thinking like,
Well, you got
it's a complex.
you got to move up to Scunthorpe or something.
But you see, and this
That's
is like
crazy.
lineage that I guess sometimes get lost because we don't even think that it's possible,
Mm.
or we think we're the people starting it off.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
happened
It's happened. Yeah.
for generations,
Templates,
and
yeah,
and it-
yeah,
it gets lost
yeah.
in like translation
No, and-
somehow.
This is one
You
thing
know?
I think about often as well, and I think it was after I read Jason Okundaye's book about the black. Was it Black Gay Britain? That one, and he just kept I went to his book launch with a friend, shout out to Ore, and he was like, "Oh, these stories would have died with them if no one like."
Mm.
He came to my place of work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he's
think I
got
remember because there was.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think you had like buffer and like.
Oh,
They-
At work.
Uncle John.
You're just sharing both of them.
Bro,
Yeah, no, like,
they just ran me.
I remember you
down,
said like
man.
you just collected something to take home.
They even said take it. I said
Said thank you. But like when he said that, I was like, no, it's actually true. And then I read
Yeah.
the book and I was like, I didn't even know things like this happen. And when you think of Southeast, and especially in relation to like homosexuality and Southeast London,
yeah, it's crazy.
the two
They
people
don't
will say
mix.
that's an oxymoron. They
Yeah,
don't go
oil
together.
and water.
But it's like in Brixton,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
in Brixton, things were happening, and you're like, huh, interesting. And then I think as I've been like learning more about black artists, especially in the UK,
Mhm.
looking back at like the 70s and 80s, I was like, there's so much that happened. And it's a shame because I feel like because we don't know of the things, to your point, like we just think we are now the first people to
Yeah.
do the things. But people have been doing this for a
They've
very long
Some
time.
people have done it. The blueprint is there. We can
It's
just
there, we
take
just
it
don't-
and continue.
But we just don't know. Or maybe because like there used to be a black art group in Wolverhampton, I think.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wolverhampton.
Yep.
I didn't know until I think one day I was like Googling about like black artists and then found this group and then did more study. There was a black art gallery at the time and they used to do things. It's Keith something. He's got something at the Tate Britain at the moment. I can't remember his surname. But yeah, like him and like other artists like did a thing. And I was like, wow, it's so sad that like, and again, I think on an institutional thing, or if you look at the education system, I didn't learn this in
Keith
school.
Arnett,
I don't think so.
British
Ma-
conceptual artist. Keith Vaughan.
No, is it Irving? It might be Keith Irving, but I feel like I might have made. Is there an Irving?
No, there's not.
Okay, I'll Google after. Apologies, but yeah, like I feel like because we don't know enough, it's almost like I think about this with America and the UK often. Like I look at the BET Awards, and I often like compare with like the Mobos, and I know obviously like
Wait, why are you laughing?
there's a difference
No,
there.
I had sorry to interrupt, but I had a clip of Bugsy Malone.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, pop in the yeah.
That for me is
I
a
remember
different-
thinking, so who's now going to clear that up? Because now people need to walk in this puddle of champagna that
No,
you
that the whole floor is sticky for no reason. Yeah, I hear it.
you know.
Yeah.
No, but congratulations on his win. But
Yeah,
like,
man.
I think about how with the BET Awards, there's like an ecosystem there.
Yes.
You are celebrating the past, you are celebrating the legends, and sometimes new artists will kind of highlight some of those acts or the legends before. Even the Soul Train Awards, the reason they have the Soul Train Awards,
They do
is
that
to
really
highlight
well.
that history.
Yeah,
of,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Soul Train and everything. And I think about the Mobos often. And like, I used to like years ago be in my room, but like, oh my gosh, it would be so cool if like, I don't know, Soul to Soul did something with like, let's say an Ezra Collective. Or like
on X Factor when they
what they bring, like like the finals and stuff.
Yeah, I know the finals when Beyonce suddenly comes out with what's her name?
No, but like stuff like that.
who was that? Leonard Alexander Burke. Who was it? Leonard Lewis.
No, it's Alexander
Alexander
Burke.
Burke, yeah.
Or like, I think about actors and I'm like, oh, it'd be so great if like, because I went to this event and shout out, I cannot remember the guy who leads the sessions, but there's something called Timelines where this guy will sit down two people. So he sat Caleb Femi with Benjamin Zephaniah and they had a conversation as poets.
Wow.
Obviously, like Benjamin Zephaniah, like
Rest in peace, yeah.
like legend.
Yeah.
Caleb, he's not an up, he's like pretty
Nah, he's established.
right now,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Film director, poet,
doing
everything.
all the things.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like, the conversation they had, I was like, I would love for us to just have these or this to be shown on like a wider audience.
You know what? Bashi
Yes,
did something similar for his album release. He sat down with Any. Who else did he sit down with? So obviously Any is like a new gen rapper.
Was it with Kano as well? Am I bugging?
Kano was
Yeah,
on it.
Okay.
And she's a writer. She wrote Why I Stopped Talking to
Rennie
Black.
Edo Lodge.
Yeah, she was on it as well. They were talking, and it was just lovely hearing their different perspectives from different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think things like that are so this like intergenerational conversations.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
even like for my residency, I keep thinking about like this whole thing of how do I connect these two
Different generations.
or
Yeah.
different like times and different perspectives, because I feel like that's something we're really missing in like, our
Definitely.
society,
Definitely.
but also like within the arts and the creative spaces.
Mhm.
Like again, there are so many designers, black graphic designers that we probably still don't know of who have
Yes.
been designing for Yonks like for
Bro.
years.
Yep. Taking all the jobs that we want.
Yeah.
No, for real. Some of them are like when I've been into some of the buildings here, and I'll speak to some of the people who have been there, and they're like, "Oh, you have been working for 20 years, huh?"
Yeah. Like I remember like one advertising agency I worked at, like meeting this like black designer. I was like, wow, so like you're a senior designer, and he just like tucked away in his own.
Yeah,
like, doing
yeah,
his
yeah,
own
yeah.
thing. And it's funny because like I know we spoke about the Angelica Bell thing before the episode,
Yeah.
and like how she said she felt like she failed, even though she did an incredible job.
She
as,
did
like,
not fail
us
at
back
all.
in the day.
Yeah.
But like with someone like him, for example, sometimes as we were doing like our like stuff for our like employees from the global majority doing our like network stuff, like, oh, we've got this event and we're trying to rally all of us together. like you notice that some people don't really get as involved when they're like maybe a bit older
because they feel ostracized because of the age
When they're tired.
thing?
or they're tired. I don't know if it's a thing of like they're tired.
Am
or
I old then?
Oh, you're tired as well. But wait, why are you tired?
I'll be honest, yeah, and I do wrestle with it sometimes. When it comes to doing stuff with our community in the place of work, I get tired because I feel like I will be limited on what I can do because of red tape.
Which I hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also that sometimes I get tired of just having to continuously
The same conversation over and over.
yeah, like, I'm not. What am I doing,
Wait,
man?
my question is, who are you asked to, I guess, speak or engage to? Are you speaking to the people who look like you, or just speaking to them and like teaching them? I guess because if it's teaching, I can see why you're tired.
I feel like sometimes there's some things you can't teach.
Of course,
It's just deeply rooted. But at the same time, I think if I was ever to be involved in something like that in a place of work, I think I'd like to do like workshops where people can just learn stories. Like I'm talking about with, like connecting with people.
Yeah.
I'm not in this. I'm not here to teach.
You're not trying to
anybody.
do up the
Stop being racist. I'm
Stop
not,
it now, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. But I'm also trying to open people's eyes to the fact that
There's more to-
the British gay Britain, black
Black gay Britain.
gay Britain. Like even with that, for example, that conversation was more of everyone was more aware that, oh wait, this is a part of history that existed that we didn't know about. Same way I'm trying to bring other people to know about other parts of history, culture
got
that
you.
because some people when they think about music, all they think about is Stormzy.
Yep.
When they think about like a black TV top wear. And it's this very limited view, and I want people to open up their minds to the bigger.
That's quite
circle.
sad.
I like that approach, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because
It's a more wholesome approach.
But it requires budget.
You know if I think it doesn't?
But it may not.
It doesn't.
no, sometimes
really not.
just put we're gonna be streaming this service.
Yeah,
I think we
that's
did it.
it.
Once in,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
We're in Ogilvy, like we're like, oh, we're streaming, but even though it was more like the black maternal death rate thing, but it was a really good thing to watch, and we had conversations, and especially like white mothers were there, and they were like, wow, okay,
I didn't know. Yeah.
That's good, man. And shout out to them people that go to them things, because I also think another thing that happens here, and this is, I guess it depends on your workplace, but sometimes things are put on at a time that's not convenient.
Yup.
And sometimes it feels like it's on purpose.
Sometimes at lunchtime.
And it feels like it's on purpose.
Why is it at lunchtime, bro?
And they know that your lunch is tight. And you're the person with the most work.
Like, if this is really
No, for real.
Oh.
Yeah.
if this is really important, yeah, put it, I don't know, 9:30 a.m.
The time that I'm meant to be working, let me have it off and educate myself.
Make it mandatory sometimes
Yes.
for people to come.
Do you know what I mean?
Not the whole, oh yeah,
If you like to, and there's two people in the room.
As I think, I'm not trying to put all this work in.
In fact, CEO, I must see you there.
Yes. There's no point, man, doing all this
Set
stuff and
pace.
it's like... But yeah, I'll rather do my own thing anyway, sure.
I hear what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I think it is definitely something that is needed. The whole like linking the older generation with the newer generation, because the gap is like I was just thinking right now how scary it is. Yeah, there's going to be a generation who have never heard of Media de Banjos, for example.
That's crazy.
There's going to be a generation who don't know about, let's say, even
A-Dot and
A-Dot.
T-Boy and
like, do you get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
all of this, like there
Jazzy.
Yeah.
isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna miss that.
Yeah? What's the name? Is it Mandem on the Wall? What's it called?
Man
Like,
on the wall.
all these
Like,
little
these
things.
are the conversations I wish we could have. Like,
Dude, we should be having it.
we
And
should
we are.
be having them.
We are.
Yeah.
But the thing is
Yeah,
that we see it as like, and I think maybe this is something that we have to talk about some later time, but the psychology of having these kind of precious moments to ourselves rather than sharing it, because we feel like that's all we have. These good moments, we don't want to kind of let them go, because the moment we open our mouth, it's almost like it's escaping out of us. And it's like, wow, now it's gone. It's not my thing anymore. It's not a precious moment. So we share it with select few, like we'll be talking, you might be bantering about maybe, oh, you remember CBBCs or this, that. These are cherished moments for you. And you don't know how to, like, how would you introduce that to a new generation who seem like they don't care? Or who seem like they have other things that are important to them other than that? Like, imagine speaking to like a 14, 15-year-old and saying, yo, do you know this person? Yeah, this person was on, like, even to initiate that conversation, to find that intrigue from a different generation. Sometimes it's scary because you're scared that you might get rejected. The same way you've been rejected for so long by society, and then you've had these good moments that you can hold on to. Now you're thinking, oh, if I go and tell this person about this, they're going to be like, yeah, but it's not HD.
And yeah.
Screaming. But I guess
No, for real.
there are ways, and that's part of me. That's why I've been thinking about the whole intergenerational approach, because like if you had a conversation between like, let's say Anella Rose and then Angelica Bell, for example, it random because I can't.
I would not watch that conversation, but
Or even
No,
like
you know what? That actually would be quite.
or even like a Wumi Bello and a Trisha Goddard.
Ah, yeah,
might
okay,
be a
that
better
sounds
example
yeah,
because
yeah.
they kind of do similar things.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a better example.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of like a black influencer type from like the 90s, early noughties. I just can't think of one on the top of my head right now. There's definitely some
I
there.
can't think
In the UK,
Probably, I'm trying to think of someone who
Black
was probably on like
influencer.
Big Brother back in the day, who was or like a big influencer.
Brian.
Maybe not. But like, okay, let's say a Trisha Goddard and a Wumi Bello. They do a similar type
yes,
of
yes,
thing, right? In terms of interviewing people
yeah,
and all that kind of stuff. And like having conversations about how things worked in their respective spaces.
Yeah.
share stories,
Share
like
stories.
yeah,
Almost like an actors on actors type thing.
yes.
Those are the
Concepts,
things that
like-
I feel will be able to help kind of like bridge the gap of like the younger generation thinking, oh, who's this?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar with this person.
Mhm.
Oh man, this woman had a talk show on Channel 5.
Like she was a
Back in
big
the day,
deal.
she was a huge deal.
Yeah,
Never would have known that.
yeah.
And I think
It's
maybe
definitely needed.
it's how we strategically like go about these things. Cause like I think that's what it is at the end of the day. Like if we have an idea or if we put ideas forward to like make these things happen
Mhm.
and we actually really care about the outcome,
It's possible.
We can make something possible, I think. For
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Because I think that would be beautiful, man. Oh, just imagine, like in a room.
It can happen. It can happen.
Because I'm even thinking of someone like the artist that I don't know if you guys ever the 411.
Yes.
So
The Amazon music show?
no, the 411 is a group. There was one black lady in there.
Oh
Nah.
man, I definitely
The UK. She actually lives not too far from here.
Oh.
I bumped into her randomly, and then she was just telling me about it, and I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Like she's been on world tours and everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just like, so it's like, it's so interesting. Like, even imagine her sitting down with a new artist and having those
Yeah.
conversations.
And shout to the man that did Jungle and Garage,
Bro, you know what I'm saying?
Some of them man are bus drivers now,
Wow.
and it's
Like,
crazy to
and-
think.
And the thing is, they're blended into the world, doing their own thing. but it's
Assimilated.
like,
Yep.
the stories that they have,
And they're going to go away and we'll
Yeah,
never
that's
know
it.
about any of them.
it's sad, bro. But that will never happen in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Because I can't lie, we need to definitely hear them stories, man.
Yeah, man. For sure. Conversations for creatives. Today's question is: how do you feel about sharing your unfinished or in progress work with others?
It's others creatives or others
Yeah, it
the
could-
world.
No, it
Let's
could
say
be.
creatives.
It could be creative. Creative.
Oh, if it's creatives, then like I'm a bit okay with that. Like, but it depends. Like, how unfinished we talking?
Like V1, V2.
V2, V3 maybe.
Screaming.
Yeah, V2, V3 maybe. But also it depends on how collaborative the project is. If it's a thing where I'm working with multiple people and they need to see a V1, then that's not an issue. Because you need to see a V1.
Yeah.
And maybe in order to inform whatever you're going to bring to the table. But if it's just like, hey bro, I'm just doing my work. Do you want to have a look?
Why
yeah.
won't you want it?
Yeah.
It's not that I wouldn't, but it's just never my first instinct. I'm never going to be like, hey guys, you want to see the first ungraded cut of my video?
But like, you know,
Why not?
Yeah, but it's not like,
But it isn't the first thing that comes to your mind.
if you asked me, I would show you.
do you?
Yeah.
But I would
guess-
never like
I
be
guess
like, out my way to show
My
you.
question would be: do you, if you are okay, let's restructure. If you were, let's say, in a pickle and you were unsure about a project,
Yes.
how would you go about like finding a solution? Would you want to share it with somebody to get their advice on what to do, or would you try and figure it out yourself, or would you do something else?
Bit of both.
Okay,
But there's some people that I would like. I always go to the missus. I always go to my little sister, and then I come to you guys.
okay,
So
okay.
it's like there's always a
actually go-
process.
you
Yeah,
actually
it's
go
a
to people
process.
just
yeah,
to-
yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Like the missus sees everything. So
I'm good with it, man.
Mm.
I'll be honest.
you like showing people your.
I don't mind, but at the same time, it depends what it is. If I don't feel confident about what I'm doing,
Mm.
I probably won't show it. Show it to
Imagine showing
anybody.
it, they're like, oh, this guy actually sucks. Oh, you want to put in there like maybe like a big chat, like a
gosh.
20 people chat. Hey guys, do you want to look at
Ah, God.
There's no way I'm doing that. That's not a safe space. There's no way.
So that's not safe.
Nah,
but
there's
that's
no-
real.
there's
That's
no way.
It's really not.
so
'Cause
real at the
man
same
will even
time,
look at
though.
it, come off the chat, and then
Someone will even like it. They'll just read it and zoom out.
Oh
So-
God.
yeah, usually
Yeah.
my missus will see it.
Mm.
Like, yo, what you saying?
Yeah.
And she's very brutal. So
Yes.
I don't like going to her because she would tell me, look, oh, yeah, man, scrap it.
It's the way
Do you know
though.
what I mean? But it's like to refine it. But even to you guys, like I'll share stuff to you
Oh yeah.
And you know what's so funny? Sometimes it's usually when I'm thinking, am I bugging?
Or like, is this wrong or is this right? Like, wait, it's good though.
Yeah,
Like,
you know what I
wait,
mean?
yeah.
So more for like, yeah, but unfinished work, I think is interesting in terms of like the creative process. Like, I don't know. I guess we can't even do it with the pod, like with that maybe content we're doing or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Kind of like a growing machine thing.
Yeah.
Like,
would you like even with the challenge? I did it with I think it was the Lush day.
Mhm.
In the video, I showed like my
you did.
So and I was like before even I
Mm.
didn't care about that, but maybe because
Yeah.
I had no attachment.
Yeah, I get what you mean. The
Yeah,
attachment wasn't that deep
attachment,
'cause
yeah.
it's
If you were getting paid 5K, you probably
Ah,
wouldn't show. Yeah.
You know what? Sometimes the bread changes
The
if I'm
bread-
gonna show it or not.
I can't lie. That's the reason why a lot of the work I can't show people because I'm
An
like,
NDA maybe.
there's a lot of money attached to this. If I show it, someone says, "Nah, this is trash," or it leaks by mistake, I'm done. Then that's it. Confidentiality out the window.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying,
Facts.
Yo, I
Michael?
can't lie. It
What?
just reminded me of like a work thing last week.
Mm.
I don't normally show my work, and even I've realized it's something I do need to do more of because I get in my head a lot, and I'm always thinking about the idea.
Yeah.
And I remember working on this like one thing last week, and the idea was just not hitting the way I needed to hit.
Oh,
And they needed like a version like
Today.
basically
Yesterday.
But I was just so caught up in like, I don't know if you guys have seen Inside Out too.
no, not the second one.
My missus what says it's
Okay,
sick.
not very.
Yeah, I heard it's really
great
good.
Film. Basically, there's an anxiety. Like,
Right. Oh, so that was you.
There's one scene in the film here where like the anxiety just goes crazy. That was me trying to like figure out this thing. And my thing is like when I'm really trying to like get into it, it's like I'll shut out everything and just make sure that I can get
Yeah.
a version. But I think because time was ticking and I really said early afternoon, so my bad guys. So I said early afternoon,
Yeah.
far in advance. 'Cause I was like, yeah, I'll get this done.
Mm.
Then I was getting into it. I was like, wait, it's not working the way.
And
I
then
need
your
it to
brain
work.
starts to
Your brain's
think.
like, cool.
Yeah.
So I was like, had 101 different versions. Like, yeah, cool. I'll get it to you soon. I think I ended up sending off something around like 9-10.
Ooh.
Terrible. But it's because I was like, I don't want you to get rubbish. I want
hear
to
what
give
you're
you my
saying.
best.
Yeah.
But then it's like, just try and communicate with them. And I think part of me was just like, look, just cut it. Just send them what you have.
At
and get
9
some
PM,
feedback,
yeah.
and then-
That's the thing that will free us, you know.
yeah, no, it's bad. Maybe it's like a perfectionism thing as
It
well. Because
is.
like you don't want to disappoint the person. And
See what you're
especially because of who it was for. And that's when like said the money. I was like, nah, guys, like I don't want you to think this is rough. Like I'm almost there, but I just haven't
Give me
figured
a- yeah,
out
yeah,
what
yeah.
the thing
You know,
is.
you know what's crazy? Sometimes you could be thinking, yeah, go ahead. Say to them, what is this?
It's right.
Yes, that's happened so many times. And then the idea that maybe, but this is another
It's
thing.
always
as
a
well.
50-50 thing
It's
though
always it's a
sometimes.
very objective
Yeah.
thing. I can't lie because sometimes the clients, sometimes they
They're
don't have
helping
good taste.
themselves, fever.
Yeah. Because there's been multiple times where I've sent like even like maybe like a month or two ago, I sent someone work and I was like, this is the one,
Yeah.
and they were like, no, I'm not sure, you know. And so, like sometimes I feel like clients need to believe that they made their own choice.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm here trying to like lead them on,
They
like
want to shoot. They don't want to be full shoehorned into like.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what I did is I was like, okay, cool. I'll just mock up some new ideas. I mocked up some new ideas and I put the old idea in there. And I'm like, I really love this one. I was like, yeah, I love that one too. The same logo. The same thing.
That's crazy.
There's the Michael Beirut book that I'm reading.
Yeah.
Thing called Now You See.
You
This.
recommended last
Yeah.
week.
Mm.
Yeah.
He mentions this a lot in the book in like quite a few articles. He's just talking about how like the game of trying to like push the right idea. Even the not TikTok, Instagram reel that you sent in the group chat about the person only presents one idea.
Oh, one
Yeah,
idea.
And I was just like, wow, some people don't have that luxury because
Nope.
they'll say, I want 3 and then some.
Yeah.
And
Can
I want
you give us
revision,
versions?
1, 2,
Yep.
3, 4, 5.
I think sometimes with our what we do as creatives, I think we have to move like the challenge.
You're right.
Like
Yeah,
I genuinely
I think
think the way we're
trust
working,
your own
the
intuition.
way we're working right now is actually probably the best way. Because
Yeah.
actually, what I realized, even what we're producing each day is actually good work,
Oh yeah.
and that's basically what we're doing our V1s.
Yeah.
every day.
I was gonna say I don't think I've redesigned anything.
What am I gonna redesign at this point? When it's 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Nah, I
you
can't
get what
lie.
you get.
Especially my one yesterday, like for a mirror. It
Yeah.
was a simple mirror.
I was trying to figure
No,
out the
I
right
don't
mirror.
think you understand- I don't think you understand.
The reflection is wrong.
I played
Yeah.
with the scale. I put a U in the mirror. I changed the perspective.
Mm.
Trying 101 different things. And that, if you look at that, you'll probably be like, that's really simple,
Yeah.
which it was. But I was like, if you knew what I did,
Oh, the process to get to
I
that.
was committed. I can't think of anything else right now. I just need this to work. But it's true. I think it has forced us to kind of make sure that like we just got to find a way to make this.
Yeah,
Because essentially, this challenge is showing unfinished work.
Yeah.
Some of it is finished.
I was gonna say,
Or some of it, I guess it depends because I
Can be
feel like
refined.
do you feel like
Yeah.
you'd go back into it and refine any of
There's
it?
some I don't give a damn for. But there are some that I'm like, wow, this could actually become something more. if I was to-
Okay, so rather than it being unfinished work, it's more so like showing client different 30 ideas and then letting them pick. Okay.
But
Basically.
I guess I'd ask because I feel like you guys have quite distinct styles. Do you feel like some of them are also like as a result of the style that you have as a designer? That's why it's like, even though this may be your V1, it's like a pattern.
Oh, it's like hours of work training.
Has
like
led to this
been
moment.
doing press ups every morning.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
There's some days where I'm like, this is my style and it is what it is.
100%.
Sometimes I feel guilty because it feels lazy.
no,
But it only feels lazy to you.
To
Because
me.
you've done it for so long.
So long,
But to
yeah.
other people, it's like, whoa, this guy put effort.
Yeah,
I,
into
can't
it.
like, I can think of like certain ones for both of you that I was like,
Yeah.
This is
hey, you guys killed it today. Like, but
Yeah.
I also know that because of like your style as designers, this makes sense for you to do too.
okay. Yeah.
In a
I'm
good- in a
interested
really
to
good
see
way.
which one you're going to pick for Burns.
Yeah. me too.
Plantain. I think about that plantain one often.
Because
It
he's
reminds-
black.
But it reminds me of the In God's Time poster
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
I see what
And
you're
like there's a certain like design sensibilities that you have that when you got to that outcome, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I want to say so many cuss words, but I can't.
That is Conversations for Creators.
Shout
outs and recommendations. Yep.
Okay. This week's shout outs and recommendations. Who's going first?
You are.
Oh, damn. Okay. Okay. I've got 3. I'll speed through them. First one is a song by Onola Sama featuring Dealer called Fet Rock. It's a great song, danceable. If you get a chance, you check it out. I think they're both Nigerian actually. But yeah, second one is a graphic designer illustrator called Steven or Stefan on Instagram. His Instagram handle is dear_Stefan. He's from South Africa. He's a great illustrator. He's got like these illustrations that like are very flowy, kind of like almost like they have life to them. Amazing illustrations. I think he's done some stuff for like the New Yorker and stuff like that.
Okay.
So cool stuff. Yeah, Steven or Stefan. And then my last one is well, she describes herself as a creative baddie.
Never heard that before, but fair enough.
Okay, but yeah, Lauren Harewood. Her Instagram is LKHARE. LKHARE. She's an art and creative director.
Shit.
She's done stuff like 4 Days, Somerset House, Apple, Spotify.
Very cool.
Sure.
The list is crazy. I
Endless.
can't even lie. Yeah. But also, she recently did what she's done. She usually is. She's very, very amazing when it comes to like things about, especially protesting and the recent stuff that's been happening in Palestine. She did some stickers for the protest, and also like this amazing poster for the protest as well, which I think was directing people to go and have like authentic Palestinian food and stuff. So it's really, really cool stuff. But yeah, Lauren Harewood is the last recommendation I have for this week.
Sweet. I've actually got 3. I found one.
How greedy.
How greedy. First one is a campaign by Places and Faces with the collaboration with Reebok, directed by Cisse. You'll see on the thing. But I love how British it is. It's like a car beat, so and yeah, it's just a funny concept. But I love how how effective the advert is essentially. So definitely watch that if you can. Second one I spoke about in the podcast, but Netflix documentary called The Evolution of Black British Music. So it's basically through the journey from jungle, grime, garage, to where we are now. It's even got Afro swing in there, funky house. It's really good. Bare faces in it, and it's nice. I think we're talking about in the podcast about like speaking to that the generation gone past, and it's like you see a lot of that there, and just like the different people that has established the scene, and even there was even one segment where they spoke about where Ollie came from.
Mad.
And I was like, raw, like somebody was calling his way Ollie.
You're lying.
Dead serious.
That's crazy.
Ole. Oi.
But the origins of stuff is just
Yeah.
so mad.
even where Jungle came from, or
Right.
yeah, it's
Yeah, I
it's
need
it.
to watch this.
Yeah, and that's directed by Femi Oyeniran.
Okay.
I probably got it wrong, but
Okay.
forgive me. And I found this name so funny, but Nicky Slim Ting Walker. But yeah, that's his tag in it. Right?
That's hard. That's a hard one.
Nicky Slim Ting Walker. And then the third recommendation is an interview I saw by a podcast called Connected Minds Podcast. And it's featuring Mr. Silver. And the title is I'm the Pioneer of UK Afrobeats. Which is, when you watch, it's quite connected to what the documentary about the evolution of Black British music, because Fuse is actually in it and Mr. Silver is not.
Ooh.
But then it kind of makes sense because Mr. Silver is more underground and Fuse is more mainstream.
That makes sense.
Fair.
When you think about it, at the time, yeah.
Mr. Silver should have been.
Mr. Silver had the streets.
He should have. He definitely should have been.
Uni-wise, Mr. Silver,
Boom,
for
tap.
sure.
Come on, man. He should have been in that.
But it's a really interesting
Right.
conversation. And it's sad because you can see how much he's hurting about what he could have done. But the labels messed him up to some extent. But also it's like, yeah, it was a new sound at the time. So it's a very interesting conversation. So I definitely recommend to, if you're interested in that, definitely recommend to go and watch that. So that's my recommendation.
Okay, can't lie, your last one kind of made me change mine a bit. But I'll start off with Lisa Anderson. So she is the managing director of the Black Cultural Archives, and she curated an exhibition at the Dulwich Picture Gallery, sorry, that's not supposed to say library, called Soulscapes, and I was looking at Black artists and their depictions of like landscapes and just scenery, whether in the UK or whether back home. And I think it was a really good show. Went to it during the summertime, I think like August, September time, maybe even earlier actually, maybe like May. But
Just with Black Curatorial as well?
Yeah, Black Curatorial. They did like another like tour and like exhibition visit. It was really, really good. And yeah, she is doing a course that I signed up to. It's for a fee. But so if you got 88 chilling around, but I was like, I'll invest into my learning of art and stuff. It's called Black British Art Now. So it's kind of looking at Black British artists from like the 2020s moving forward, looking at like contributions from artists. I think there's going to be like a talk at the last week of it. It's going to be running from next month.
Nice.
I think it's every Monday. So yeah, there'll be like a little like short course kind of thing. So I was like, just in case anybody will be into it, wants to learn more about art or study or even to like maybe network.
Is it in person?
I think it's online.
Online, okay.
Yeah, but like I guess you get to keep the resources and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm trying to learn more about this space because I don't know that much about this space.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll recommend that and recommend her. Former Arts and Media. There's a bookshop / like exhibition gallery space near my area. Let me say that. Near my area,
next door.
Yep.
In like Southeast London, and I go past it often. I went in today, and they have. They have an event. Over the past month, they've been doing a artists film international. So there's like a screening of films on every Saturday. They're at, we will add somewhere. But yeah, they're a really cool space. They support like independent zines and like books from artists. Artists will come and like showcase and share their books, or art students, because it's close to the London School of Communication, as well as like accommodation for I think people that go to like UCL or like other like universities in London. And yeah, it seems like a really cool space. Like I was checking their Instagram on the way here, and it seems like they're always doing things for the art and for the artists as well. And I think it's such a great way to like bring people into the arts, especially in that area, because there's nothing like that I'm aware of, like in that particular part of like Southeast and stuff. So yeah, definitely check it out. The last one, because Burns said like he listened to the interview, this is a bit like weird direction, but Charlie XCX has a really interesting interview with Zane Lowe on Apple Music. And obviously like Charlie XCX has had like a huge moment with Brat. There's been like Brat Summer. And I'm not the biggest Charlie XCX fan. I tuned into like 1 or 2 songs here and there. I really do like this Brat album, but also I just like seeing her story and her growth, especially when she considered herself as like a slightly not underground artist, but like she wasn't necessarily mainstream. And then to have this moment where like things have finally connected by finally making the music that she wanted to make was really like nice to hear about her process, about like making the record, but then also I guess her experiences entering this new space. Just thought it was really interesting. Especially like I think about like other people like Victoria Monet having their moment and other artists. Like I love those pivotal moments that like people finally have their breakthrough. So I've been like tuning into a lot of those like more often. And yeah, it's a really good interview. And Zane Lowe always has really great personal conversations.
He's a great interviewer, man.
So yeah, those are my shout outs and recommendations.
Lovely.
Another week.
Yeah, man.
Happy Black History Month.
Come on, man. Every single time. We'll see you next week. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to today's episode of Rule of Thirds. Feel free to share your thoughts with us using the hashtag Rule of Thirds Pod. And for more from us, follow us on Instagram at Rule of Thirds Pod, or our personal accounts for myself, Burns JNR,
Mike at _ man like Mike.
And Jude at Kente Kwame.
Catch you guys in the next one.